now.
Loading.
As this episode of Simple Blasphemy is loading, it is brought to you by our Patreons. Keep us commercial free and join our Patreon today. Patreon.com/simpleblasphemy. Check out our website, simpleblasphemy.com.
Yes. Remember, people. Drive safely and have loads of hot, nasty stuff.
It's too late now. This is Simple Blasphemy.
All right. Can you believe it? It's fancy. Welcome to the Simple Blasphemy podcast, all you blasphemers out there. My name is Zack Ward, and I have here with me always Andy's.
Locked in my house, locked in your heart for eternity.
Oh
my God. Hey, we have our own COVID-19 Zack Green.
And before we introduce our special guest, all the info on this show, including episodes, guests, and our Patreon, can be found at simpleblasphemy.com. And if you are new here, please consider subscribing. Our special guest this week is returning, none other than Jeff Stewart. How are you doing, Jeff?
Hi, guys.
Returning champion, Jeff Stewart.
Guys, glad to be in quarantine with you all.
Mm-hmm.
Andy, how are you feeling?
I'm great. I'm absolutely fantastic.
I have never been better.
Zach, you feeling all right? I'm feeling all right. But
no, I've been better, but
what are you feeling?
Could be a lot worse. I got a mild case, so it's they say about 2 weeks recovery.
Well, we'll get into that in just 1 second. To get to know Jeff better, we're going to spit 4 questions at him real quick and easy. And as a reminder, there'll be an after show, an after party live for our Patreons only. So sign up today for as little as $1. $1 gets you full access to our Patreon. We're going to hang out and just finish off our drink.
Zack Green, are you drinking toilet water?
No, tonic water.
Tonic water.
It has.
I knew it started with a T.
It's because it has quinine in it, and quinine was used to treat malaria back in the day, and they're saying that a lot of the treatment used to fight malaria is making leaps and bounds with COVID-19.
It's weird because the first person to say that's not necessarily the brightest person in my book, and he mentioned it during a press conference. He was like, oh yeah, they're using this shit for malaria, and the doctor's like, no man, we have no idea what you're talking about. But then yeah, actually it kind of works. So
great. Now I don't want to drink it. I got the information from Rachel's friend who's a doctor, so
that's a way better, way more reputable source.
She's traveled around the world, so
we're gonna get into that in just 1 second. Let's get Jeff's 4 questions rolling. We're Spitfire, then we're gonna dive into COVID-19 Z. Here we go.
World War
Jeff,
Z.
Question 1: if you had one superpower, what would it be?
Oh, man, I'd like to fly, probably.
Okay. I mean, by yourself?
I probably could take whoever I wanted with me. That would be along with the power, I would imagine.
Okay.
Like the ambiguously gay duo where one of them rode on the other one's back. Yes. Wow. I'm aboard. We're going to Hawaii.
Sounds very nice right now, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Question number 2: what age do you consider old?
Man, I just turned 50, so I'm like right on that defining line. Am I middle-aged or am I old? But I think probably like about 52, 54.
What?
60. Actually, I'm going to shave my head and grow my beard when I'm 60. So I think 60 is old to me.
Okay, you're halfway there then. Number 3, who is your celebrity hall pass?
Ooh. Like for me or for my woman?
Give us both.
I think both is
yeah.
I think you
can't say 1970s Christopher Walken either. That's mine.
Oh man,
glassy faced.
That is celebrity hall pass. Like today, modern day, you can't use olden days now.
Oh, you could say I wanted to fucking bang Clark Gable. Sure.
I thought he always seemed like he had bad
Breath.
cigarette.
Yes. No. You don't want to kiss Clark Gable. You're just
No, I
what a
remember when
He had bad breath.
yes.
Really?
Yes, notoriously.
I saw that snippet of information somewhere
Mhm.
out there.
Must be
It
a
was like
Clark
a
thing.
It was like a bathroom readers.
Must be a Clark thing.
It must be a Clark thing. Oh, my breath
My
could
stepdad,
fucking.
by the way, has about 30 bathroom readers that we've had at our folks' home for many years. And
I loved them. That was the early version of the internet, or at least what the internet has become.
All right, celebrity
I'm
hall
really
pass,
just
Jeff.
pausing to try to get this answer here, Zach. Jeez. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna blurt it out sometime later on as it comes to me.
All right, what's your wife's celebrity or your girlfriend's, your significant other's celebrity?
Fiance. She's got a crush on her, like these doctors that she follows for her health stuff. Max L. He's a big health guru, and I think
She also made VHS tapes. Max L. No, nobody. Come on.
Live revisit memory.
Yeah.
The tape that delivers.
Wow. All right, Jeff, number 4, and I'm really curious to see this answer. Worst job you've ever had?
I've had some. I can talk about some shit because I've had some jobs since I was like 12. My first, can I just real quick rundown?
Sure.
I was a caddy at Inverness. I was 12. I rode my bike all the way across town to get like $1.50, and here's change to get a Diet Coke, son. I was a paper boy. I hated that. I was a waiter and a busboy at a Denny's restaurant in my late teens, and those hours are invaluable for dealing with people in the modern day.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I've shoveled ditches. I've laid sod down, you know what I mean? I was waiting. I've done everything, man. I've hauled shit. I've tore down demo buildings with friends. I don't know. The worst job though was a fucking salesperson for this rock radio station. It sucked. I graduated from college and I was in a new marriage and I had to get this job after my 6-year bachelor degree. And I got this job at this rock station and it was horrible. The new guy in the block, we could only go get like, guys that had $100 a month budget, and we wanted them to spend $1,000, and it sucked. And I can't get those hours back. And I would just try to find parking lots to take a nap in until I could go home and.
That's
a good
time
way.
well spent.
No, that's a good
carbs.
A good way to describe it is the hours that you cannot get back.
Yeah,
that's just it.
That's a really good way to do it. It's not just that it wasn't worth my time, which means the same thing, but you hear it wasn't worth my time that much or so much that I can never get that back. That's
how I look at sleep.
Yeah, man.
All right. So before we dive into Green's COVID-19
I showed him
debacle, folks,
we love it, Rachel.
If you are hanging out, give us a like, ask questions, make some jokes in the chat. We can see them, and also give it a share if you're up for it. So here we go. Zack Green, you have the coronavirus. When did you start feeling this, and how did you feel?
I don't know. I got it last week sometime. My wife works in a hospital. So that's how I attained it. Rachel's been sick for a while with just her typical sinus thing that she battles almost all the time. So she didn't think too much about it. And then she started to cough. And then she's like, oh, shit, I don't know. And then she took her temperature and she had a fever. And then, I was like, oh, shit, so then, later that day, well, actually that night, Rachel says I was coughing in my sleep. So I guess that was the start of it. And I don't know, when was that? Last Thursday? And I got up in the morning. I felt like crap. I felt like I had a hangover. I had a 102 temperature and a dry cough. And been the same since. I mean, I brought my temperature down. I've been living on Tylenol and Mucinex. And, when that kicks in, it takes the temperature down. I feel halfway decent, but it's just something I can't kick. I can't tell you the last time I had a temperature for more than a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just, it's like I said, when you have a temperature, at least for me, it's like a dull hangover and it just won't go away. It zaps your energy. It's like I have all the time in the world now, but I got no motivation.
So hey,
I slept 12 hours last night on the floor, man.
You talked
out
at lengths about not having a gallbladder and basically making juice down
this
there.
is worse, man. I heard that like diarrhea is a part of it, and it's explosive now, man. It's
how
like
is your
spray painting the back of the toilet?
And I'm not saying this.
Ooh, mask off designs.
I'm not
Mask
trying
off
to
like a flower, and then when you're done, rip it off, and there's a shit flower on the inside of your toilet bowl.
try not to make a thing out of it, Green, but
Mm-hmm.
is your bowel movements at all different, or are they
Pretty much liquid all the time.
Does your bowel movements have a temperature too?
I'm sure it would be that like 100-degree temperature my body is. No, I
100 degrees of shit with Zack.
in the middle of it, I did have some soft serve, and I'm like, oh, cool, I'm on the mend. But nope, the next day it was right back to the old standard.
All right,
Horrible,
Jeff is our
man.
guest. Probably should at least attend to him a little bit here. Do you know anybody that's had the coronavirus, Jeff? Have you had anybody?
Yeah, my niece Sydney, she went studied abroad and she was on holiday, as they say, in Catalonia, Spain.
Fish and
Barcelona
chips
area.
holiday.
Yes. Well, anyway, she falls in love with this young, handsome Italian guy named Dario, and Dario
do
and
that.
her, they fell in love. He came over here for business a couple times, and they're together
Intermingled.
long distance. And anyway, he was here maybe 2 weeks before the whole thing went down.
Oh,
And he got home, and right at that time, one of his village, which is in Milan area, up near Venice, northern area, their whole village was shut down in quarantine, and he was sick. He's now on the mend, but right when he got home, he was going to start a new job, and the whole village got quarantined, and he did with his family inside his home. They were all sick in his home. I don't know any other details as far as the recovery, but that was firsthand. And so I know that she was monitoring him closely, obviously, and
it's a scary time. Not the weird part about this type of thing is like we know that it's, for the most part, we know that this is just all gonna smooth out at some point. It's not like there's a no light at the end of the tunnel. It's just that it's a kind of a bizarre experience that not a social experiment could ever come close to what we're going through.
That's the thing that I actually am enjoying about it. I hate the loss of life, but the idea, and I spoke about this briefly, and I'm not going to go off on a tangent or anything, but the world unifying event that I talk about, that you could really change a lot of stuff for good. You could really do a lot of good shit with this, depending on how the ship is steered. Let's put it that way. Right now, we have a chimpanzee steering our dinghy into the rocks, but whatever.
Yeah, man.
we read between the lines who you might be talking about, probably, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just surprised the seriousness of it, because every morning the health department calls us and is checking on us and asking us a bunch of questions on our progress. So, I mean, this is like, I don't know, man. I just like, wow, the health department calls us every morning.
Yeah.
What time do they call you?
Rachel, around 10, 11.
Oh, no, that's very respectful.
Well, yeah. Rachel's actually been tested, just to let everybody know. So she's actually
A statistic.
yeah.
It's a documented case.
And since I had the same symptoms she has, it's just assumed that, yeah, I have it too. But Rachel's actually documented.
Gotcha. I see. Now that's
So did they
that's
count
the question. Do they consider you a number or do they not?
I don't know. Now I should ask them tomorrow when they call.
Yeah, because that's the thing. The numbers are kind of weird. Jeff, what say you? You look like you have a question.
No, I'm just wondering, like, I'm sitting here, even just right now, like Andy said, everything's going to change no matter what. Hopefully for what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting here with my hand, like, touching my face. Andy was sitting like this.
Mm-hmm.
Zach's like this right now. Is this the new norm to look at people and think, God, you're fucking getting the disease or the touching things? Or are we going to be able to shake hands again? Or how do you think greetings will be? Will it be a bow or something?
Well, yeah. Easy stuff's going to go away, or it's going to be affected by this. I know that in my inner workings of my family, my wife is very stringent about things. There is a bucket of bleach. There are Lysol wipes. We got groceries delivered the other night. We had to wipe all the stuff off. Anything with cardboard had to be put into containers. She's just taking it really seriously, which is fine. I understand. Between our kids and our elderly parents or older parents, we want to make sure that we're doing whatever our part is. This in and of itself is making us, I don't want to say making us better people, but is creating better habits for us that are going to, it's making us more conscious of how we're living. And it's not that it's going to stay at this potency if and when this all stops, but it is going to definitely put us in a different direction. It's just gonna steer a little bit off to the left. I keep talking about steering, but that's what it's doing.
See, the one thing go ahead, Jeff.
I have a question for you dads. I don't know how many. I know Zach. Well, for the last week or so, we've been watching like Kendra's son and daughter, Emily. They bring their baby over, who's a year old, and they are still working here and there and stuff. But I was like this morning feeling a little bit like, I don't know if we should. He's my little dude. He's everything to me. And then you kind of like have this, fuck it, I'm just gonna accept it. And this is our little dude coming over, our little baby coming over here, and with that comes in other people, and with that, I'm not settled on it. It caught, and we had this discussion, and it's an interesting little energy, and I just don't know. How do you guys take that? What do you see as that when I describe that? It
feels, well, there's two things. Number one, it feels like we live in a cliffhanger. Like I'm waiting for the da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? It's like it's constantly in suspense as you see these
45 Bruce Willises jumping from the same airplane, but firing downwards with their guns.
My son Ryan has asthma real bad, and we're really concerned about him, because he's caught many different things. So yeah, it's on one hand on the and that's why I just work from home. You know what I mean? And Jeff,
I've been quarantined as well. I haven't been running around to spending time high-fiving friends and whatnot right now.
So you're in the gig economy too, Jeff. You play out fairly regularly and probably make a fairly decent amount of income on that, right?
I do okay, as we all do, if you depending on how much you want to work. So I do all right. So that I get this message that all the gigs are canceled, as we all did. From server, everybody got canceled.
Everybody got canceled.
Speaking in my trade, it took me a couple of days to get over it. And when of course you're thinking about how the fuck am I going to pay for shit, my bills, etc. The first stuff, but mainly it was, God damn, man, I put lots of time that you can't quantify, like scheduling all this stuff. And it's people are now, I got weddings that are like, hey, we're going to put on this date. Can you keep moving it ahead? Other special events.
You have to learn how to juggle everything.
Yeah. It's a different hustle. And I'll tell you what, I announced 2 live streamed shows, which I was apprehensive about. But I was really very glad I do it. I'm going to be doing more. People were very generous, very, very generous. Just like when you're in a bar, people get pissed off if there's no tip cup. And it took me many years to get that. Wasn't my thing to have a tip fucking cup up there. And now my friends are like, dude, what are you thinking? Why would you pass down X amount of dollars per week, which could be over $100 per week?
Immediate gratification too. When you see somebody toss money in there, you're like, yeah.
I mean, but now people, they're not going out spending $70 on shots and stuff. So they're maybe having some cocktails at home, and they really have been enjoying. And I've been corresponding with people, a thank you note to the folks that have done that. And it's just been really like a gracious support crew. So I did 2 shows last week, which really took care of, quite frankly, 5 days of hard gigs of
really
hard income, which decent income, I would say too. So in 2 gigs, it took care of a week. And then I have a little bit, I paid my car payment. I paid a credit card situation, and we have groceries for the house and all that stuff, gas stuff and whatnot. And then I have that kind of stockpiled now for the next week, and I'm going to do another live show. I can't bank on people keep giving you that. It was going to be dwindling. Everybody's tightening up right now too. However, that's going to be, I basically look at it like online busking. And that's going to be my thing. And it's, you're done with the show and you turn your fucking camera off, and then as opposed to going to the bar or something, you go into the kitchen and you're like, what in the fuck is going on now?
And I didn't need to take my equipment off the fucking stage and put it in the back of my damn car.
All that stuff too.
Yes.
Lots of that too.
So. A couple weeks ago, the last practice my band and I had, only 3 of the dudes were able to make it. So we got together, we hit record for Facebook Live, which I had it turned the wrong way, but we still,
yeah, you did.
We're like, it looked fine on the fucking screen. It still was something that you could give out, like, as we're still here, we're bored.
That's the one thing I really like about.
Go ahead.
Well, this is what I really like about part of the situation. I'm actually joining somebody in California, and we're doing a collab between about 5 or 6 different artists doing an instrumental version of a song, and all the live stuff. I mean, that was the first. I did 2 live shows. The first one, the audio was horrible, but of all originals,
it was very. It sounded like you had a flanger on everything, like an official.
Yeah, but I figured out what I did wrong for the first go at, but. That was the first time I played all originals for, basically a small show. So
you're not like, okay, here's Neil Diamond. You guys mind if I play a couple of my own?
No Neil
There's
Diamond.
A question there, you guys. How do you do this? Now, I've done on both times I went live. I've done all originals, and I was also on another thing. I did all originals. How does it?
Well, shout out to Jay.
Covers, but does it stay, or is there like, if people are donating money to you, is there implications with that kind of thing? Or
I heard through the channels that there was people were might get in trouble or something like that. I heard that, but I don't think
it's just like a GoFundMe.
I heard somebody took stuff down. They wouldn't rebroadcast because they had covers.
Yeah.
Or something.
Well, the thing of it is you're not legally allowed to make money off someone else's music. You aren't. I mean, you can literally be sued for it.
Unless you have a letter that says from the person that owns the song rights that you can do it. Yes.
Right.
So
if the bars are paying their BMI, they're publishing ASCAP dues, if they are in that whole fucking mess of a thing, then you're allowed to play. But some bars will post, do not play this song, this song, this song, because they're not covered everything.
They pay for one and not the other or whatever. But I do the ASCAP. I'm an ASCAP artist, but that doesn't mean that I have any rights to play someone else's music.
You're an ASCAP, all right.
I'm just a part of their association. You fucker, motherfucker.
You fucker.
You just made the show not safe for
work.
Home.
Not safe for fuck work.
Damn it.
Anyway,
don't make Zack laugh down there. He's coughing up.
What else?
What is awful?
Yeah. You're gonna have to quarantine that fucking 70s Bush worth of microphone.
Hang on, I gotta look up a tweet.
But what I wanted to say really quickly is that it's in the news for so long that the government tries to cut the arts program for all these high schools, but yet here we are. You go and all it is people painting and people making music, and it's beautiful.
Brother.
Okay, so I want to bring stuff a little bit lighter because we're going to talk about this thing, and it's going to be whatever generation's 9/11.
Green, are you still with us? Blink if you're in there. Blink if you're in there.
Man, I'm just enjoying the conversation. Man.
Okay, so do you remember the country singer Joe Diffie?
No.
Okay, well Joe
He just
Diffie
passed away a couple days ago.
he
Yeah,
just passed away a couple days ago. Yeah. Okay, so Tracy Adkins said, "Oh my God, one of the all-time great vocalists, Joe Diffie, was my friend. Rest in peace, buddy." Joe Diffie online. Now, the thing that makes funny is this woman recalls a one-night stand she had with Joe Diffie. Said, "Rest in peace, Joe. Back in '87, he and I had a one-night stand. The cowboy was very well hung. Unfortunately, he never called me back." Here's the best part. "Heaven gained another 10 inches."
Oh my God.
Wow, that's real iffy.
So, big dick energy from Joe Diffie. I just want to. Oh,
10 inches was pretty. That's
uncontrollable.
maybe 9. Maybe
I
10
think-
inches is kind of like that's sort of not real information. Typically, is not.
You think they just rounded up?
Yeah.
Fucking
If I had a 10-inch penis, I would pass out every time I had a boner.
It's kind of like a hard drive.
My head would shrink and I'd go past.
Oh, man.
Andy, it's kind of like a hard drive. It's really 9.45 inches, but it's 10 gigs.
It's a 10 gig. It's fine. That's how Windows formats things.
But yeah, I think that we should have the 10-inch challenge. Maybe we should start that.
Oh, God.
What is that?
Well,
Yeah. What is that?
right
Fetishist?
now, the thing I'm segueing into this.
Hold on, you guys. Hold on.
Yeah. Oh. It's
Let her
still going to
rip
be
it up.
upside down. It's going to look like a boner no matter what because your screen's
That
upside down on my side.
penis.
Did you just send me children's
I'm
genitalia?
segueing into this. Right now, there's something called the was it nude or the nude challenge? Yeah, the naked challenge. And it basically it's on TikTok where the person comes out of the shower, the person's playing a their significant other is playing a video game. They throw the towel off, and then they film like them, their reaction, kind of a thing.
So it's like the naked man from How I Met Your Mother?
More or less, yeah.
Okay.
Now, have you guys heard of this challenge or no?
No.
Really?
That's it. To me, that sounds like the who's going to get punched in the dick quick enough challenge.
Dude, you are hardcore quarantining.
I haven't been on Facebook.
I'm off social media, everything.
Yeah, like I log in every once in a while. I log in. I sound like I log in to see what my son's doing and how he's doing at home. College. No, I have been on it like 4
and
times.
The cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. That's all I'm going to do before I get sued.
The first week I was on it a lot. Like, I mean, I'm on it a lot, but I found like yesterday I was hardly on it at all, and it was nice.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. So you take a few days off of it and leave the news. The news that's really important is going to find you. I promise.
It's actually on this podcast. So you don't even have to.
Yeah. Right.
Being off Facebook and social media as a whole feels like I've been lifted onto eagle's wings, man.
You are quite.
I've been soaring.
Yep.
With just blissful happiness.
I'm swollen and soaring.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Swollen and sore.
And
Usually that
sore.
feels like you're walking like flat-footed if you're
You need a little sponge bath after I'm done talking to you.
All right. So on the subject of the virus, the headline reads: "Farts, accidental nudity, questionable art. The coronavirus work from home fails." So
Okay.
basically, someone gathered a whole bunch of tweets, and here's for instance, "Big work from home learning for me today. Remind Ryan to put on some clothes before he goes into the bathroom first thing in the morning. Today he walked past my team's video call butt naked." So we've got that happening. A lot of people working from home, and people just aren't used to it. So there's some crazy stuff.
My wife
Not
said to
social
do.
faux pas, but now there's in-home faux pas you have to take care of.
It's called an e-faux pas.
Oh,
Faux pas.
E-faux
Bless
pas.
you.
Thank you. You put a little soy sauce on it. Oh my god, e-faux pas is delicious.
It's not something it's not like a noun either. It's a thing.
It's like a je ne sais quoi, an e-faux pas. Wait.
Edamame, or what's enami? What is it? Unami.
Umami and yeah.
Unami.
not to mention, I have
you know-
seriously.
Konami.
Have you ever heard of Heige, which is a night? Scandinavian countries and European countries, they have this thing. It's HYY or HYGGE or something. Heige.
Okay.
It's a state of mind where when in winter months, where we all Americanized thing, we have this like, oh, we're shut down. I can't wait till spring. All that stuff and blah. Boo-hoo, it's cold, and but they embrace it. This life doesn't stop. So Heige is a unami kind of thing where they plan for the winter. It's more of a time to spend time together inside, isolated, but happily isolated, with comfort and coziness. And it's sort of, I actually took that on a few years ago, and I started thinking about that in the wintertime. Like, yeah, man, this shit's not done. Just put some fucking long johns on and just keep carrying on.
You wear two pairs of pants right now.
No, I don't have any long johns on right now. I do have underwear.
Well, I mean, that's
to prove it.
Please upload to this particular Dropbox. No, because back 10, 15 years ago, I used to wear like my pajama pants. I'd wake up in the morning, have pajama pants on. I just pulled jeans over the top of them, so I would have like an extra layer.
That's a Sammy Hagar set change right there.
There you go. That's right.
Both of your jeans.
He's really good at that Sammy Hagar set change. I'll tell you.
Best of both worlds.
Good one, Green.
Oh my God, you may be fucking infected, but you laugh.
Damn, fuck,
You had about 87% too. You fucking brought that shit right out.
Oh man.
COVID shit.
Oh, Van Halen. I don't know. That's Green's idol is Eddie Van Halen, right? For the most part.
Yeah.
Edward Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Now, can you imagine what a great day it would be if you found out that Eddie Van Halen had COVID-19 with you? It's like you would have.
No, it doesn't. Whatever.
That doesn't do it for you.
No,
Do it for me. No, everybody's
Like
gonna.
you guys
Oh,
are
most people are
showing
gonna
shoes.
get it eventually, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Whatever.
When you get Eddie Van Halen, you guys are like together in one room. You couldn't
Well-
come out, and then he's like, "Hey, dude, I got this new riff." And you're like, "Come on, Eddie, I know, man, you're fucking great. Jesus, man, let's tone it down a little bit." Eddie Van Halen COVID riffs.
Eddie Van Halen, give me a neck massage and shut the fuck up.
yeah.
All right.
Because that seriously, an Eddie Van Halen neck massage, you have to imagine would be pretty awesome. It'd be like a lot of tapping.
Oh yeah. Well,
He'd be really, really fucking good at it.
I'm about to
Yeah.
have an eruption, Eddie.
Well, I need him sitting next to Steve Vai. They can each take a shoulder.
Yeah.
Or
There's
who's
like
the?
There's that term.
Oh yeah, that guy, the fucking metal dude,
Michelangelo.
Yeah.
Double wanky.
I see him like every year, and it's just like, wow.
He's still living?
Oh God, yeah.
He's walking by waving at everybody with both hands, tickling everybody under the chin with both hands, eating two hot
Tickling
dogs
everybody's
with
balls.
both hands, tickling everybody's balls.
Hey Andy, do that again real quick. No, the hot dog bit.
No. You get one. You get one. You go back and you capture that if you want it for your spank bank.
Okay, fine. Eddie Van Halen, I don't know. What does he have an issue right now? Doesn't he?
Yeah, he's not well. There's a number of things. I don't know. Cancer of some sorts.
Yeah, I think he's got
other things.
esophageal cancer. And
Oh, is it
He's-
from sucking on metal picks or something like
Yes.
that?
Eddie Van Inhaler.
Yeah, he said some pretty strange things, but I don't know.
Did I ever tell you my relation to Eddie Van Halen?
I hope you.
Does it include Lou Sass?
It doesn't, but it includes an equally amazing woman named Aunt Nancy.
Might
my
as well jump.
Yeah, right. Might as well jump. My Aunt Nancy, who passed away way too young of an age, swore to God that she was friends with Valerie Bertinelli, and that they were friends. And she talked about Eddie Van Halen and all that other fun stuff. But she was this old kooky lady. She was absolutely crazy. She had a fever when she was younger, and then she got married, and was one of my favorite people in the world, but she would always go back to all these people that she knew. And we never believed her. But every time somebody goes to her grave, there's always like a shitload of flowers on there from nobody from the family. And they're like really expensive, like an expensive ass like of flowers. So we're fairly certain that it is one of her famous friends that keeps sending to her, and I just choose to believe that it's the Valerie Bertinelli Eddie Van Halen connection.
Are you sure it's not like
that as your reality? I like it.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought I'd share that with you.
Is she the same age as Valerie?
No,
older.
Yeah. Well, she would have been old. Yes. Yeah. I think she passed away when she was like 74.
You know how women and Valentine's Day pay for chocolates to be delivered to them at work?
Yes.
Do you think that this has...
Oh, she set up a fund before she passed away to make it look like Valerie you know what? She was pretty sly like a fox.
I'm not like the tiger thing or nothing.
She had one of her fingers removed due to cancer when she was younger, and she would, as a fuck around, and she had it all the way down. So she had 4 fingers. She had 3 regular fingers and a thumb on one of her hands. And she would put her hands down and ask my friends to count her fingers. And they'd get to 9, and every time they'd get really pissed off, and they'd go back through and get to 9 again. Like, where the heck is your other finger at? Because her little ring finger looked like her little pinky finger.
Auntie, you are a wealth of oddities.
Useless. I'm a wealth of uselessness.
She really couldn't give you a full handshake, could she?
No, she could flip you off though. There's a video on YouTube. There is a fucking, yes, I do. There is a fucking video on YouTube of her that I posted 10 years ago, and she was singing at my grandma at her sister, and the song is "You Are Nothing But a Fucking Dog." And she was singing it and dancing, and then she turned around and looked at my grandma, who was halfway across the yard, and went, "Fucky, lucky, wucky, ducky! Fucky, fucky, ducky!" And just...
Oh, you gotta love those old people.
Eddie fucking Van Halen are like, what, second cousins now, or what?
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah.
He gives an awesome neck massage.
I just remember as a kid watching MTV, and especially with the jump video with Eddie Van Halen is flying like...
That was Panama, my friend.
Was it Panama?
Yeah, don't fuck around with that guy.
I was just testing your knowledge.
I know.
Eddie Van Halen is flying across the screen like he got the whole production crew of Peter Pan's like high school production.
You guys come by and set this up a couple days early for me? Thanks, guys.
And I'm sitting there like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. You know, that was the crazy thing about Van Halen. Everything that they did at that point was like the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I had no reason why I thought it was cool. Nobody was influencing me, telling me that it was cool, because my mom was.
It was just cool.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you do all the cocaine and you have a shitload of money. You're able to act on all of those fucking ridiculous things. You're like, you know what would be fucking cool, dude? Is if Eddie was fucking flying. And he came to the stage, and he's just like totally still.
All of them took a turn on that. All of them took a turn on that winch.
Okay.
But anyways, Eddie brought his coke dealer on tour with him. I think it was during the 1984 tour. He actually took him on tour, paid for his own room and board, and that's where all his money went to.
So
can you imagine that?
It's like a babysitter, only the worst kind of babysitter you can imagine.
Green, you constantly talk about flying on eagle's wings. You got the COVID-19 disease that, who knows, you might not make it. Do you have a make-a-wish that we could try to...
He wants to know what your last request is.
Yeah.
Last requests.
I had a good run, man. But what's scary about this, and part of the reason I got off social media, is that every time something takes a little turn, like, oh, I got some phlegm in my throat, or I start hacking up a lung, I automatically think, oh shit, is this it? Is this the beginning of the end? It fucking sucks, man. But I never have those thoughts when I had the flu or a cold or a sinus infection. But now, because of this, with all the media behind it, I'm just like, oh my god, this is it. I'm gonna die.
Yeah, and I reassured
that,
Green.
that part of it sucks, man. And
Yeah.
I have a mild case of it too.
I reassured you don't know that, but I reassured Zack that if he does pass away,
yeah, I could take a turn.
I'm
for
just
the
saying
worse.
if he passes away, I'm gonna move my family into his house.
Oh,
and just-
I'm sorry, I already got dibs. I'll be over there like.
yeah, it's like the Legends of the Fall, like the older
Mhm.
brother takes over, kind of a thing. Or
There you go.
I got this as a revocable trust here, so it's already been
I'm just here to-
been pieced out.
all right, fine. Then fine, Green.
You want me to add you? Do you want me to add you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is it? It sounds like somebody's boiling porridge.
Yeah, what's going on? Is somebody eating some jawbreakers?
Chef Stewart
All
was
right.
eating
Willy
jawbreakers.
Wonka in the house.
All right, we're almost done here, folks. We got one more article, and then we're gonna go off to the Patreon.
The champagne room.
hangout. Champagne room. So here we go.
Champagne room, yeah.
And if you go to our Patreon, which let me just put this up in case anybody is wondering,
Or watching. for that matter.
$1 gets you full access to everything that we have in the extra content and Patreon. And I will tell everybody right now that this Thursday we have a very special out of nowhere podcast with the band Sponge. 3 members of Sponge are coming on Thursday at 9:30
Sponge party. Sponge bath.
with Sponge Bath with Vinny included. So we're putting
Vinny,
together
Tim, and Andy, right?
yes. Vinny,
Dang.
Tim, and Andy. So the Loft and Vinny. So I've got a lot of questions prepared. We could deep dive because of the production teams there, along with going in Rotted Pinata and everything else. So tune in Thursday, 9:30 p.m. for that. All right. So last article of the day before we head over to Patreon. Man told to turn down music, chased neighbor with a sword. A man has been accused of grabbing a 2.5 foot long sword, chasing another man who asked him to turn down his loud music. This is Manchester, New Hampshire.
Did he scream "Have at thee"? If this is taking place,
Now,
Dave, turn down thy stereo, thy hi-fi sound. I shall draw thy blade.
so
What's up with the Shosuta?
Jeff, you obviously play a lot of gigs. You do a lot of music.
Ever kill somebody with a sword?
Do you at all? Not only do you carry a sword, is the first question, because you're a non-confrontational person. I mean,
I'm full of rage. I just act like very peaceful sometimes.
Not very swordplay like.
yeah, but
Warlike.
do you have any memorable moments where somebody basically said that you were too loud? I mean, there has to be something.
This fucking couple.
This fucking couple.
Dude, I was playing a gig at Swig one time. You know how tiny that little place is,
Uh-huh.
right? There's one table, and they sat down with their family right in front of me, where my speaker was. Like, this is the speaker, and that's the lady. And during my set, which I was very, very quiet, you're playing to the room, and you're literally right next to somebody's head.
Mhm.
She just kept turning around, and she walked right up to me during a song, and she said in my ear, can you just, to make it a little quieter, we're trying to talk. This is how you just don't know what to really say in that situation. Man. You don't know
No,
what to say.
you
Cold
chose
cocktail.
your spot. Good
I don't have
Lord.
any answers for you. I'm about to fucking
Lose it.
lose my. Ah!
Yeah.
Oh my
There's
God.
a
Screamo
place
rock
for
came from.
peaceful- We have on social media. I think that I like to be calm, and I like to try to be level-headed and try to have some kind of point of Willie Nelson grace. Hopefully that you're not a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Now, when I'm on Twitter. I never thought I would be on Twitter until a year ago, and that's where I get out my social aggression, I would say. So
That's where you draw the sword.
Draw the fucking sword, man.
Hashtag have at thee.
So
Yeah.
let me tell you my story only because it equally pissed me off. The last time I played at the Mexican joint next to Swig. I'm not going to say who it is, but there's a Mexican restaurant.
It's the only one right next to Swig.
Yeah. So if you're in this area, you'll know where it is. Long story short, I'm on the stage, and the manager who is filling in for somebody who I didn't particularly care for to begin with says, "Hey, man," and I'm outside. This is the outside patio area. He comes in and says, or comes up to me during the song, "Hey, can you turn it down?" And I finished my song. Go, "Hey, what seems to be the problem?" He's like, "Well, you're just being a little too loud." I go, "Okay." So I turn it down a little bit. I just do my thing, carry on. Nobody was complaining, it's just this guy. And then he says it again. And now Jeff, you know what that feeling is, because you don't want to be offensive. You respect the job, and you're like, okay, well, this guy is paying me tonight. So I thought about it. I'm like, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to strum my guitar and talk in this microphone real quick. You tell me when it's an acceptable volume for outside. And I took that volume and I kept turning it. He's like, "No, keep going." Like, la, 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 la. It was on 0. He's like, "Yep, right there." I packed my shit up and left. I go, "I don't want your money." I fucking left. Done.
Well
Fuck
played,
you.
my friend. Well played.
Fuck you. There's no fucking way. Never been in that place ever again.
Hazards of the job.
Fucking awful chimichangas.
There's this guy that lived above this place. This guy lived above this place that had music every night, live music, 7 to 8, 9 o'clock. That's where bands or duos or trios or singles would start. This guy moves into the place above. There was a little duplex or whatever above the bar restaurant, and he would call every night at like 1 minute after the band would start and start bitching. This has went on for years. Why, sir, would you rent a fucking space above a bar that has live music and then think that it was going to be okay, but then it probably started getting to you after a while? So you went on this fucking campaign of it's disturbing, man. I don't understand it sometimes, but there's no crying in baseball.
It was a really nice corner view. So folks, here we go. We're gonna scoot over to Patreon. So scoot, if you want to join in the conversation,
Skeet.
we're gonna have a final drink over in Patreonville.
I lost my desire to masturbate. I noticed that too, man. That's what part of
Okay.
the virus.
We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about the flaccid to erectile,
Quotient.
10 inches of Joe Diffie.
No, it still gets hard, but it's just like, fuck it.
and we're gonna hashtag 10-inch challenge, folks. You heard it first. Simple blasting.
All right, I'm gonna go get something to drink.
I want to be the first to teabag the podcast.
Oh, first contender. So, hey Jeff, hang on for 1 second, and guys, we will see you at the after show.